Recording in. Oh, that's too loud.
Got them all shiny. Yeah, it's a little. There we go. Make it a little. There.
I like it to where they can hear us still goofing off over the music. I don't know. I think it makes it more personal.
Well, yeah, definitely more personal. And so I'm working. I've got the phone, the desktop, and the laptop. I might as well just grab the tablet and make it a big
Yeah.
orgy. Let's see here. And
And disclaimer. You can read it for yourself. I don't feel like doing the bit right now. Meh. No, seriously though, we're probably crazy, but don't even worry about it. Everything's crazy right now. Welcome to After Dark with the Lion's Pride. We are your hosts, Cassidy and Melanie.
hello.
Wow, it's our first one, and we got it right. The intro right the first time. Wow. Welcome to. I already said that part. Hey guys, this is Cassidy and Melanie. This is the one I've been telling you about, who's a whiz with numerology and astrophysics, not astrophysics, although probably astrophysics too. But I meant astrology. So Melanie,
And
tell us about yourself.
let's see. I'm in South Dakota on the eastern side of the state, originally from the western side Black Hills area. I have been doing astrology pretty much my whole life, driving everybody in my family, my friends crazy since I ever heard the word astrology. I do numerology. I like to call. I'm a mystic. I do private readings. I do have YouTube channel. I do consulting. I do all kinds of things. I like to stay busy, and let's see what else.
Very intensely sexual.
And then, yes, sexuality it's a major thing. It's also a major thing too when it comes to spiritual things. And
Yes.
let's see what
Now
else
keep in mind,
here.
as we're going to talk about today, sexuality doesn't necessarily mean fitting tab B into slot V. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's more about energy and flow. And I realize it's gonna sound like a line coming from a guy that looks like me, but trust me.
I have a page that is it's the sexual revolution of the soul and of the soul and self, like concerning with sex. Um, I'm actually gonna post our thing on there. Because there's a lot of people that are going through spiritual awakenings as well as sexual awakenings, and
Yes.
sexuality is a lot more than what it gets credit for. It's got a very broad spectrum into different areas and categories, and it's I mean, come on now, we wouldn't be here for sex, and
Exactly.
and and I think that there needs to be a re-education of it, and also like just a whole new like foundation, ground rules of an understanding for it, and I think that once people can connect to themselves on that level, the people that struggle with it, it's a lot better. And I think a lot of people's problems is if they just got laid, I think we probably have
Yeah.
less wars. Maybe more wars. I take the back, might be more wars because it happened in Helena Troy.
Well, I don't know about war itself. War is a whole nother thing. We'll talk about that sometime. But there would probably be a lot less violence, like in mental and emotional violence, especially. You know.
Yeah, people just need to just release, let it go.
Exactly. Let it go, let it go. You're not gonna escape the bad singing on this show.
Um,
Sorry.
and
Yeah, I'm gonna do the song cues. That's gonna be the way it is.
and I do sexual astrology, and I actually have a group that I like to do that in. And we're gonna have to do when we're talking about like sexuality and starseeds too. That was like something I thought
Yes,
would be really interesting.
that's actually a really, really, really good point, Melanie, and I'm surprised I didn't think of it. There's a lot of sexual incompatibility among the starseeds simply because of misunderstandings. You know.
Yeah, yeah, and old energy trying to come into new energy.
Giggity.
Yeah.
See, I like this show. We could do jokes like that on this show. So let's start with
So
male and female energy. That seems like a good place to start, and we just
yeah,
thought of that like 10 minutes ago, so it works.
the yin
So
and yang.
yes.
Yes.
Now why don't you start? Because you have a greater wealth of knowledge in this area. I'm mostly like bite feel, giggity. So
yin and yang, the feminine and masculine energies, which we all harness it. Yin is the feminine, which is considered dark, and yang is the light, which is masculine. And just like the whole, piece of one and piece into the other. Like right now, that's one of the biggest things that we are doing here on Earth, going through this new time period of coming from the age of Pisces, which is a feminine sign, into the age of Aquarius, which is a masculine sign. And during the age of Pisces, it was very much dominated by men and masculinity and just all of that. So now that we're coming into a masculine age period, it needs to be rebalanced with the feminine. So that's why there's always that talk about the women uprising and women connecting to their inner goddess and all of that,
Right.
because we have to have that balance, which I don't think we balanced it so well in the age of Pisces, but coming to the age of Aquarius, with it being light, we need to have that strong feminine energy. And I think right now, with everything that's been going on, women, it seems like women have been able to connect more into going through their awakenings and higher levels of thinking and energy and everything. And a lot of men are still trying to balance that out within them, because men were like, what, don't cry, be a man, blah
Right.
blah 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 blah. Where women always had to be both masculine and feminine and play both roles. And I think a lot right now is there's just been a lot of clashing with the feminine and masculine energy, so it's been a process, but we need both. We need a balancing of both.
See, now
And
you say the age of Aquarius is a masculine
yes,
symbol.
Aquarius is a masculine sign.
See, that's so strange. From coming from the from the other side. Now, again, folks, I'm not an astrology guy, so I'm learning here too. Now, from the indigenous point of view, we're coming into a female age.
Well,
So,
it's the rise of it's a rise of the feminine energy. So yeah, I mean, we need both. Like we just came out of a
well,
feminine sign, which was a
that's kind of
masculine ruling.
that's
Now
where I
we're
was
going to come
going.
into where women are coming up into their power to balance with the masculine energy of Aquarius.
Right. Well, so, but that's kind of where I'm going. You go too fast. Give me a second. um,
Okay,
so
slow down.
if the stars are basically projecting an age of masculinity and the Earth is projecting an age of femininity, could that not be an example of the yin yang in action?
Yes, it could very much be.
Okay.
You know, think of think of well, the Earth is very feminine. Yeah, that's actually a really
Hey,
good way
Johnny.
of looking at it.
Well, no, no, I'm not looking at it. I'm asking because I'm learning here.
I mean, that is a balance. So with Aquarius being a masculine sign and the Earth being a feminine sign and coming into it, that could be, that's interesting because Pisces is a feminine sign and a feminine Earth. Maybe that was just too much feminine energy that was on off balance. That's a good one. I might write that down.
Right. Well,
That's actually a really good.
from the indigenous point of view, the age before Pisces was a female age, and Pisces was a masculine age. So that seems to track with what you're saying from the astrological point of view, which again, I don't know. What was the age of
The periods go
Aries?
backwards. They
Oh,
go
yeah, exactly,
backwards. So it
exactly.
goes, so it's Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn. But the astrology starts with Aries and ends in Pisces. So Aries is a masculine. So think every even sign is a feminine, every odd sign is a masculine.
Okay, so
So
yeah,
and then we
that
have the
tracks.
subperiod. You know,
So that does
so we
track.
can the subperiods go in right order. So we go Age of Aquarius, and then the subperiod would be Pisces, Aries. It would fall in suit. So that's why so we go through like Pisces is a spiritual sign, and then Aries is of war, and then Taurus is that
Right.
values and family. I mean, it all kind of goes in together. But Pisces is very much a feminine sign, very much
So
so. It's just
you
ruled by a lot of
this
masculinity
this
energy.
this brings up a really interesting line of thought. And again, this I've never considered this stuff before. This is not an act. This is not me leading Melanie. This is me honestly going, wow. Okay, so we've always my people, the Lyrans, see each planet as a giant Merkaba. So with the model you just described, that seems to make sense from our perspective, where essentially the sky is creating the male turn, the Earth is creating the female turn, and together they're turning. Whoa!
Yeah, because the wheels of the sky keep turning.
I love this show. Of course, I'm biased. Hey,
So,
Christina.
so yes, so yeah,
Hey,
so the
Lisa.
age period, we go through the age periods backwards, and the Earth is going, so the Earth is going forward through the correct way. So age periods going backwards, so yes, they will line up. That's
Okay,
good.
that
You
is
know,
fascinating. That brings a new dimension to the Egypt study, but that's for a future episode. So, okay, yeah, I'm sorry I sidetracked you. It's just you brought up an amazing idea that again, that's the kind of thing that Cassidy should have thought of. Oh, thank you so much, sweetie. Awesome. Okay,
and
so male and female energies. So now, as the way my people, we people, you people, what do you mean, you people? Um, the way my people reckon it, everyone contains male and female energies, and from my observations on Earth, that does seem to be the case here. What do you think?
yes, our bodies do. I mean, they both produce, testosterone and estrogen.
Mhm.
I mean, we have to have one of each to even, create life. But even the one of each has its own yin and yang and feminine and masculine energy within that too as well. So, but then you also have your masculine, or you also have your men that are more feminine. You've got your women that are more masculine.
I wouldn't know
There's
anything
a lot
about
of
that.
that. But you also have let's see here. I had to take my bracelet off. You also have let's see um how to explain this.
Shannon,
Masculine
hi. Sorry.
masculine energy is very much ruled by the sun, and feminine energy is very much ruled by the moon. So
That makes
with
sense.
like with men, what do men do? The sun gets up, they get up, they go to work, they do their thing, and then when the sun goes down, they're done. Women, we like cycling with the moon. Like women, we go through. For us, it's we are on, like we run off. Well, we should be running off, more aligned to the moon, and we don't operate like that, like with men, because men, they get up with the sun. Women seem to lunate more within the moon, and the moon's transit, it's not like the sun where it comes up and there's a sun. The moon goes through phases, just like women, we go
Right.
through phases. So so if
Okay.
you ever notice,
So
so that's why the sun rules over masculinity, and the moon rules over femininity. But you
that
need
that
both, to
that
come
makes
together
sense.
to create
And
life.
that makes sense, and that tends to go in line with standard issue mythologies. Even, yeah. So do you think that that relation influenced the mythology maybe, or do you think maybe the mythologies influenced our perception of the energies?
It depends on what time period, because there was a time when
Good
feminine
answer.
energy and women were the ones that were not so much as the lead, but they were definitely in more. They were in higher places of power, and they ran the ceremonies. They ruled over land. They basically were like right now. Like if you look at different religions and church, it's all men. Well, years and years and years ago, it used
Right.
to be women. It was a high
Right.
priestess. It was it just like you did a complete switch. But I think that we need a balancing of both.
Right. See, my people referred to this as the mother and father cycles. I've come to call it the animus and the anima since I've been doing my studies and whatnot here. Yeah, that seems to be a more politically and morally neutral phrase. Humans get so strange when you talk about gender. It's so strange. Um, Now, Johnny has a really good question. He says, "Is there a standard balance of male and female energies that's correct for everyone, or does each individual have a percentage of balance that's best for them?" My answer to that is gonna seem anti-trans. You guys are gonna have to bear with me. So why don't you go first, Melanie?
Ooh. I think it's I don't know. Oh, that's a good one.
Melanie Champagne, I agree with you 100%. We have two Melanies now, by the way. Mel,
Um,
Melanie Champagne
well,
says it's
women
because
have the
you bear the
ability.
children and you're more perceptive, which is what she says.
Um, well, women have been living in both, having to live in both their feminine and masculine energies, where males have been forced to live more within their masculine energies. I think that there should
Yeah.
definitely be a balancing of both, like the, like the whole alpha beta.
Hmm.
I think that I think like the gender roles and everything has been completely taken, just it's
Yeah.
off the rails. Like, I think that I think it should be a balancing of both energies,
We'll do an
for
episode about
sure.
gender, folks.
So, technically we're neither. No,
Yeah.
technically we're neither of the both.
Well, that's what makes us
Um,
both quali. I think that's what makes you and me a great team. Like me and Bradley are a great team. Is basically you and I are both Heyoka, but you're a brand new type of Heyoka. Humans haven't seen this in like I need to do the math on it. It's a Fibonacci thing, but it's like 150,000 years, 140,000 years. It's new to human perception. But you and me got the yin and the yang of the Heyoka age covered. You see what I mean? So both of us are
and
kind of
then
neither.
because usually Heyokas are male, Heyoka, the two soul one,
Yeah.
but a lot of female Heyokas have been awakening and have been activated, and that's been to also offset, or to reset, not offset, to reset the energies, because that's what a lot of what's going on is. There's a lot of resetting and then rebalancing, because we've been so off balance for so long. So and if what you'll notice in Heyokas is they carry both very strong masculine and feminine energies, and their energies will sometimes be flipped. Like
Yeah.
and so male Heyokas will have a lot. You'll see a lot of that feminine in them, and female Heyokas will have a lot of masculine energy in them. But yet they
And
are
it's so sexy.
both. And a lot of people don't know how to read or how to understand or even connect to the energies of
Yeah.
Heyokas, because you never know if the Heyoka is in their masculine or if they're in their feminine, if they're in their light and then they're dark, because it's like the opposite. Like I said, it's like think of a light being who comes off dark, or a
Yeah.
dark being that comes off light. That's like a Heyoka.
Well, it's
That is Heyoka.
that's the smoke and mirror for you, though, man. It's that backwards shit. It really does make our lives hell. That you keep in mind,
That
folks. For those of you who've
chaos.
heard about like Heyoka, like dressing in women's clothes, and like male Heyoka dressing the opposite, sometimes they'd have to walk backwards or bathe in dirt. It's all to warn everyone around them what you're dealing with. Because when you start talking to a Heyoka, if you start giving attitude, you do not know what you're going to get. You know, so everybody gets a warning. Melanie
and
Champagne says, "Me, yeah, that's you, honey. That's you."
a lot of Heyokas are very much in control and know what they're doing, and then you have your Heyokas that just naturally go in and do what they just flow through the energies. But one thing about being a Heyoka, though, is it's
Smoking mirror, Drac.
and chaos. People talk about chaos and chaotic, like everything could be chaotic around us, and everybody else could be freaking out. We're just like, oh, this is a Monday.
Yeah, pretty much. This our house. This is what we do.
It's just,
So my answer
yeah.
though, my answer, Johnny, is it's highly individual. However, the anatomy, as much as the identity trans people are going to hate me for saying this, I can smell the hate mail coming. Your anatomy does in fact have a lot to do with the masculine and feminine energies, but don't think of it like like God telling you what to be. Just think of it as feng shui for your body. It's just simple. A penis is going to have different energy than a clitoris. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that you shouldn't be you, because a great deal of this feng shui has to do with your chakras, not your bits. You see what I mean?
Not, yes, yeah. Um,
So there's no one answer, buddy. I wish there was, but there is a perfect answer for you. You see what I mean? So, all right, cool. This is good. We got a good flow going on here. I like your energy and okay, we are good. We're good. Okay, so
we talked um, male and female energy, masculine and feminine. What's next?
well, let's not move on from that. Not just yet. I feel like there's a subject that we haven't like that we need on this one yet. It's just waiting to pop up. So this is where I normally just fill air with babbling and jokes and shit like that. And in general, it'll come up. Like for example, if something pops up in your head, run with it. And if I'm talking, just shut me up. I interrupt you enough. So, here we go.
All right. Go for it.
Okay, no, you go ahead.
Oh no, no, I have nothing to say. I'm
Okay, fair
maybe,
enough.
maybe
We're
just share my
getting it. We're
share.
getting it. It takes a little while. We should dance. You should come visit me in Colorado and we should dance. Then we'll have a good synergy. So Melanie says, I wonder if the way we are or translate it when we go through the changes of the signs as planets. I'm not sure if I'm reading this correctly. Hold on, folks.
This,
Drax says, boing. Um, okay, I wonder if the way we are or translate it is when we go through the changes of the signs. Okay. She's talking about the progression we're talking about. I think what she's saying is, does the change in the planets and the stars affect us personally and our personalities?
on the energy level, well, they do, but not in the way like most people like to think they do. But there's definitely an energy. Everything's energy. So of course, the planets are definitely they have energy. Their energies are going to connect to us. Do they influence? I think they have a way of connecting. Put it that way, connecting more so than an influencing.
Mm.
Um,
All right.
let's
Okay, I misunderstood her. Okay, Melanie, try to rephrase your question. I didn't understand, and that's most likely because of
And
my
the
eyes.
planets going the planet's energy is affecting or influencing. I say more like connecting, because it's energy. Everything gives off energy, and the planets, they connect to us. We connect to them. I think it's more of a connecting thing. That influence. That's uh, you know,
Well, this isn't what she
influence.
meant, but still finish it anyway.
Influence. Kind of like what's the word? Do they influence? I think that connecting is more of I'm gonna go with the term connecting because instead of influencing because we God, that's a good one. She's got me tongue tied on that one.
Well, we'll figure it out later. Like I said, I misunderstood the question. So, but that
I
is something
definitely
we should worry
typically
about or
influencing
think about.
the earth, yes, but humans, I definitely influences the earth, the energies of the earth and everything. When it comes to that,
Oh, okay. She clarifies. She says when the Earth and signs change from male to female energy, and when we change from female to male energy. Okay, that makes more sense. So,
going from a male to a female, I think it's just a balancing. I think that as we're going through those changes, in the alignments and the earth and energy, we are, I think, like on a female planet, we are to be balanced. So think of it like female energy, us balancing both energies, and then going through the masculine energies. So kind of like a cookie. Think of an Oreo cookie.
yeah,
you know, so they got that. So it's an equal balance.
yeah.
So
Johnny says just because it's good for us doesn't mean it's going to be comfortable. That is a very good point, sir.
yeah.
So, but no,
Oh,
he's right.
nothing
If
like some beauty.
if the
It's really good.
Hindus are correct, the whole purpose of all this is to cause us pain to make us evolve. And the more you evolve the way your soul wants to evolve, the less pain you get. Not because you've done anything bad, but because that's just the way the Qantas works. You know?
And also, how do you define pain? Because
Yeah.
it's
I think the
but
definitions of pain have changed since Sanskrit, but I'm just repeating it the best I can.
but we
So
are to be evolving into something on a much higher spectrum. But
yes,
balance we need balance.
right.
It's an evolution and it's an ascension and it's an elevation. It's all of that all together. And this is the first time in Earth's history to be going through an ascension with this many people on the planet
Yeah.
that are also going through an ascension.
Right, exactly, and that feeding into just like a quick sidebar, just kind of to advertise the other shows, but to getting into the conspiracy theory, that's why the powers that be, call them the Illuminati, call them the Cabal, whatever the hell you want. That's why the idea that they want to lower the population is laughable. They need 9 billion souls, not down here, It's basically for a lot of ritual and energetic purposes. But we'll get into that in Starseed Symphony.
Yeah. And everything's evolving, everything down to the smallest molecule, to plants, animals, dimensions, everything. Everything is on an ascension and evolving.
Yes. Yes. Uh,
Because one thing that is that what is it? Change is the one thing that is always constant.
exactly. Spock had a good one. Change is the essential process of the universe, is what Spock says. So, but
And
that
then Pluto is transform or die. So it's
exactly,
basically it's gotta evolve
and that
mentally, spiritually.
and that is a perfect segue to the Kundalini. I told you it would pop. It would make itself known. So, because right there, the ascension that leads right into the Kundalini. So, wow, Kundalini is kind of a big subject. There's a lot of different things it means. There's sexual aspects. There's like the Kundalini of the planet. The thing is, folks, these are all related. Melanie, take her away.
All right, so Kundalini, and let's see here. Let's look at it. Let's look at it from a spiritual level. Going through a Kundalini awakening is with the, from the base chakra, the rising up into, the third eye. Kundalini and sexual, that is same thing. It's a rising of energy and going into a whole different physical, mental, spiritual state of, well, like nirvana. And
Yeah.
then there's the Kundalini as and the the connecting of the chakras, which goes back with the sexual part of it as well as the physical part of it. And
Which leads into tantric magic in a little bit. More
and
on that
and,
later.
and, and tantra, isn't that's like a lot of breath work, isn't it?
Oh, it's
Because
more than just
like
breath work.
you breathe deeper more. If you breathe deeper during when if you want to do tantric, the more oxygen you're bringing into your body, the more intense and the more stronger your orgasm is.
Yes.
And
Well,
it brings in oxygen to the cells and different nerves and everything. So you're supposed to breathe too during. Also, too, you breathe during birth. You're just
yeah.
supposed to breathe.
Well,
But yeah, so,
what tantra is about ultimately is the conscious moving of energy. And the reason why people associate it with sex so much is because, well, sex is literally a biological tantric act. So it automatically lends itself to it. Um, breathing is so key to tantra because breathing is the primary function of how you let energy enter your body. If you know how to do it, you can actually live on just your breath. Look up breatharianism, folks. It's real. I can't do it for long periods of time yet, but it is real. So the Kundalini is essentially you could think of it as a wellspring from the root all the way to the crown. Just like Melanie said, and she said it better than me. I'm fumbling. And hi, Christy. Hi, sis. So, now that relates very much to sexuality and tantra. Well, we've all had orgasms. Let's be real. All right. If you think about and consciously monitor the energy of an orgasm, you'll feel it well from the chakra and go zhooby 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 poo. And yes, I just made myself into a giant penis. That was probably not the best decision.
and should be able to feel it rise too, like during
Exactly.
sex, the energy or the heat of the energy rising from rolling, making its way upward.
Exactly. And then so the breathing is, the movement of energy. The sex is the movement of energy. It all works together. So the thing is then how do you go from like, ooh baby, I'm so tantric, just because you want to be better in bed, to the spiritual experience? That's the part where a lot of people have trouble with. What do you think on that one?
I think that again goes back to the whole balancing thing. Essentially, I mean, it's like being aware, but not too aware to where you're just all in the mental and ignoring the physical and the,
Yeah.
and of course enjoyment of it. But there's definitely an awareness that you want to have, and then the better you get at it, the awareness will become more of an energy, physical thing than more of a mental thing. It's just something that you don't have to think about it. It's just
Yeah.
it's like the subconscious is like it's just there. You don't have to. It's practice makes perfect.
Yeah. See, our methods are very different from that, from human methods. So it's like I want to learn this too. So in my people's perception, what we do to initiate the process is we sort of step back from ourselves. So in the experience, there's like a duality. There's a cold clinical, this is what must be done. Use your energy, focus properly, and by the way, rub her right there. Good job. And then there's also, the basically the ba is sort of free to just do what it needs to do, as it were. And that's where you get that sort of primal animalistic lovemaking, especially if both parties are doing it at the same time. Holy crap, because it's a combination of absolute consciousness of what you're doing and the freedom of complete release. There's that Merkaba again.
And both release at the same time could probably take out some galaxies.
Yes, a strong enough Kundalini can, especially if you're doing it with someone who you resonate with. This does not necessarily mean your true love or your partner or your mate. This is an energetic thing. This is why in many, many traditions, high priests, who will often hate each other, by the way, will do this. It's not because they like each other. It's because their energies match, so that when they link up, it becomes the greater than the sum of their parts. It's like there's an actual I don't know the formula, but there's an actual formula that you can mathematically track the energy. And then if you like take a picture of somebody, of people boinking on a Carolian, that special camera that can see energy, God damn it, it tracks. The formula tracks. It holds water. Augie says, in your perspective, is the Kundalini energy flow the same on the physical body than the spiritual bodies? I wouldn't say the same, but it is one of the anchoring threads in my perception. What do you think?
Um, I think they are the same as in what they are meant to do, but I think that it's there's a difference. There's a difference for sure. There's I don't know. That's a good one. But believe that there would be a difference because well, your physical body, that's a physical thing, and then for the spiritual body, that's pure energy.
No, what was that? Check out the front door. Make sure everything's okay. It
Okay.
it wasn't us. Sorry, Big Bang.
Are your neighbors having a Kundalini awakening?
Yeah. Let's get the big microphone out and listen in.
Oh,
Okay.
now it wants
Did
to be
it
slow.
sound like somebody was pounding on the floor? Okay. Well, if you were stomping around, that would be why. I've been telling you you need to lighten your step. You're a really big guy. Okay. Turn the TV down in there just in case, because it could be that. So sorry about that, folks. Anyway.
Um,
So where were we? I'm sorry, that was very, very distracting. Augie says, in your perspective, is the Kundalini energy flow the same? Okay, we covered that.
and the Kundalini energy flow the same. That's okay. That's the part that I was missing.
Yeah.
I finally got it to. Let's see here.
Sorry, now my mind is distracted. I'm worried about the neighbors. Anyway, okay, so Tantra, Kundalini. Um, I got completely thrown off track. What was where were we?
Is the Kundalini awakening or Kundalini energy the same in the physical and spiritual? I know you might have to read that one again.
Okay, in your perspective, is the Kundalini energy flow the same on the physical body than the spiritual bodies? I think I agree with Melanie that there is a difference, but I do believe they are linked, and I don't have any evidence for that. It's just a believesy.
Because you have to play around and find out.
Hey, Bobby. So yeah. And Melanie says something that I don't want to say out loud because it'll be on YouTube. So hey Neil, good morning, man, and congratulations on being made a moderator at the with the Esoteric Hours, Neil. Good job, bro. Okay, doobie doobie doo. All right, now what was the next subject? We were talking about Tantra, energy sex. Yes, okay, there we go. Now I'm back on track. Now there has to be some kind of difference because when two bodies have sex, or basically make love, or however you want to put it, on the astral level, it can create like an energetic pregnancy that does not reflect in the real world. At the same time, the opposite can also happen, where it creates a pregnancy that has no light. Now, these pregnancies almost never come to full term. Usually, it's without any light, the fetus doesn't make it, you know. So there is obviously some kind of separation, but how we understand this separation is going to vary from culture to culture. Johnny says perhaps the energy is the same and they simply flow differently in such a way that water is always water but can flow at different speeds, ease, and amounts. Um,
It's a good way to break it down too.
I don't know. I actually don't have an opinion on that. It seems logical though, you know.
Sounds very logical.
Mm. Sorry, now I've got Naughty Spock and Naughty Spock fanfic going through my head. Anyway, too much Star Trek. Too much Star Trek. Then again, is there enough? Is there such a thing as
We
too
watch
much
Star
Star
Trek
Trek?
every day too.
Ironically, I actually haven't shown it to my kids yet. We've just been very, very, very busy. So, so energetic sex, Melanie.
Energy sex is something that is feels very physical, but even though there is no physical touch, and it is through energy and throughout the oh
Okay, let's start here.
dimensional realms
Let's
that
start
connect
here.
us together.
Is energetic sex possible, Melanie? Now that's a
Yes, it
leading
is.
question. Continue.
Oh, I guess you know what? I'm just gonna leave off there and hand the talking stick to you.
Okay. Did I interrupt you one too many
There we go.
times? Or are you being distracted by something else?
Oh, I'm trying. Well, I was gonna trying to post here. If I'm trying to make sure my spelling's okay. There we go.
Okay.
There. So energy sex. It's not physical. It's full energy, and it can it can very much feel physical, even though there is no physical touch or anything physical between the energy or the two people's energies, but the connecting of the energies and through the different dimensional realms that connect our energies to each other without having to be physical. So yes, energy sex is
Indeed.
definitely possible.
Yeah. Well, from the male perspective, not even that is not that not that's not even fair. The male perspective isn't even fair. Um, from my perspective, the energy interaction can be more real than touch, and we can do this at range as well, pretty much from anywhere in the world.
It can be
Now,
more
the
intense
way
as
I
well.
perceive, what was that?
It can be more intense too.
Yes, very much so, very much so. There's actually a term for energetic sex. It's called sculping, and what a lot of people who understand what sculping is, you hear that word, a lot of people are going to think, wait, so a ghost can have sex with you? And the answer is yes. Any
Yes, it
energetic
can.
being can insert itself energetically into your equation, your pattern, however you want to see it. You know,
Can completely be energy molested
yes.
for sure.
Um, the way we define, or my people rather, define the interaction of the energetic sex, and whatnot. When you touch someone on the energetic plane, in hyperspace, once you are interacting with them, there are degrees of energy melding. Think of it like a thread, two threads, just like strings. When you come into contact with someone on the ethereal planes, that's like the two threads touching. You see what I mean? Sex, what you guys would define as sex, is can be defined as any time those threads get tangled up amongst one another, whether this is on purpose or not. Right? And this is one of the reasons why it's so important to be conscious when you're involved in sexual relations, because you can accidentally get entangled up energetically. And every person in here who's ever had their heart broken over a one night stand knows what I'm talking about. You know. Augie says, in your perspective, no sex will get you to higher dimensions, planes. In my perspective, no, not even close. But we would be in the same in the same belief systems that brought us things like abstinence. There are other paths, and we would definitely be defined by those other paths. I'm trying to remember the name. I'm trying to stall until I remember the name. But in the Hindi and Vedic reckoning, there's a specific word for people who breathe in life rather than unlife, or rather than detachment. And it's a pretty interesting study. You're going to have to look it up. I cannot remember their names. I want to say it's the Prana Yuga, I think. But
Um,
for those who practice detachment, no sex is good for enlightenment. For those who practice involvement with life, no sex will take you off your path. That doesn't mean slut it around. Okay?
yes,
You
it
know.
does. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, well,
I mean,
maybe for
really,
me.
once you go ahead, you know.
Well, I was young. I needed the money. Steph says, "Is that why I have sex dreams?" It could very well be, Steph. I don't, without knowing enough about you, I couldn't answer. But
Yes, it's definitely one of the. It's a factor. Maybe not all the sex dreams, but it's definitely a factor. Or you know, we're
but
gonna have to talk about this. We have to talk about this subject again a little bit more in depth, um, on the whole energy and the ghosts and spirits and the
yes,
different realms. But
oh yes. Well, ideally, the basic subject is meant to spark interest and inspiration to go deeper, and we just follow the rabbit hole. Pardon me. Bobby says, never been on this particular show before. And who's this beautiful dark chocolate talking about our sexual energy? Hello, I'm Bobby from Down Under saying hello.
hello, Bobby.
No, Bobby's cool. He's he's just being playful. He usually feeds me song cues, you know. So
All right,
now
so
the question is, repeating that in the cartoon smarmy voice, was that welcome and appropriate or not? Because I can
all
never
of the
tell.
above.
What was that?
All of the above.
Uh, I screwed up. Cassidy, fuck up.
Nope, not at all.
Okay. All right. I'm getting distracted. You're looking away. I'm keep thinking I offended you or pissed you off or railroaded you
No,
or something.
I got the laptop here, and I've just been posting to the groups and pages.
Okay.
That's what I've been doing.
All right. So just like
And
Bradley.
then I'm going, and then I'm
Cool.
going to go on the comments too.
All right.
Let's see here.
Now I know. Now I know. It won't bother me anymore. Yeah, Bobby. This is our second soft premiere of Lions After Dark. The first one,
Actually, no, I think no, it is our
yeah,
second.
yeah. The first
Our
one
second.
was in Illinois, I think, and then I had to disappear for a while because emergencies. So, but yeah, that's why this show isn't on there very much. Hey, Craig. Hey, Liana.
But we're going to be doing a lot more.
Bobby says that was nice. Goofball. Drax says that makes sense. I've been walking both attachment and then very detached until recently. Well, I think everybody. Melody Renee Watkins is here. Everybody. Sorry. No, the thing is everyone goes in cycles. Like everyone, like especially the women, the guys in here might not be like, "What are you talking about?" But the women in here, y'all know what it means to not want to be touched. Like this is
Oh
not
yeah,
the
that was me
time,
yesterday.
you know.
Yeah, might lose a hand.
Yeah. And the thing is if you track these moods, you come up with a sequence, and if you play that sequence and track other personalities, it all makes sense. If you care enough, guys, if you care enough about your woman to notice when she's not in the mood, there's a cycle. You know, just give a shit. So the thing is so yeah, everybody moves in cycles. Sometimes you're going to want to be attached, sometimes you're not going to want to be attached. Sometimes you're going to want all of the nookie. Sometimes you're going to be the nookie monster, and then sometimes you're just going to be like, no, I am practicing ennui. It's just there's always going to be the way, and that's okay. The beauty of
Yes.
of energetic lovemaking isn't. in the nookie, which is good nookie, don't get me wrong. But the beauty of energetic lovemaking is you bring yourself closer to your partner so that your cycles match, you know? So that's just me. That's just my opinion. Dracona says everyone needs me time, I think. Well, I need me time like 8 times a day, so I'm right there with you. It's me, myself, I. Uh, but yeah. But yeah, it's natural to walk the attachment and detachment in cycles. Too much is toxic for anybody.
Yes.
Case in point, the world, Mother Terra in her infinite wisdom gave us AIDS. So that's a sign from nature, like, hey, y'all taking the sacred thing and turning it into something disgusting. So,
Oh, leave it at me. And
but yeah, energetic sex there is so many benefits to energetic sex. And again, I want to reiterate, sex is not defined here as the pee pee and the papa. Okay, sex.
energy sex can be very healing too, as well.
Did you say healing?
Yes.
Yes. I know. I'm not going to say their names because some of them are well, at least one of them is watching. But I know very, very talented healers that can only heal through sex. You know.
And then there are also mystics that have such high sexual vibrational energy to where their energy alone, they can harness it, and a lot of them can take all that sexual energy, that natural Kundalini, like all of it, and channel it into physically healing somebody through a massage or
Mhm.
even just through communication.
Yeah.
That's energy.
Which, in my perspective, and I could be wrong, in my perspective, that is basically the more advanced form of the basic, heel fucking, you know. And heel fucking is a thing. It does exist. Personally, I think that's where Nightingale syndrome started. So, you are doing cards. Do I sense that you're ready to do some starseed charts?
Well,
Yeah.
I was just shuffling, and I was, what? I do have some sexy tarot cards, but they're in the box. I have to pull them out next
Ooh,
time.
sexy tarot cards.
The first card that I pulled was the Ten of Cups, which is actually very fitting for what we're talking about.
Okay,
That
well,
sexual satisfaction.
take the floor.
So,
Cassidy's hogging attention. You go, go, go.
so we got the Strength card. That's Leo. Leo is actually the house of sex in astrology. It's also the house of pleasure. That through our pleasures we create our children. Look at that.
And on a personal
So yeah.
note, Melanie, tell the audience how often you pull strength card for me. That's like my card.
Oh, I love that. And then we look at that Two of Wands, and it takes two to tango. And Wands, that fire. See that
Giggity.
passion that comes leaning in the third. And
And
let's see what the
if
third card is here.
and if you ever want to do a
And we got the
fanfic of
High
us,
Priestess. Oh my! Isn't it could you can't make this shit up. Look at that, the Strength card and sex, and then you got the Two of Wands with the High Priestess,
okay.
all tying into what we discussed tonight.
For future reference on a sidebar, I'm gonna have to teach you how to set up a card cam, so you can just set the cards down and the camera sees them. So
I need one. I've actually
I'll show you
loved
how. You can just do it with your phone. You can, with the right program, you can turn your phone into a second webcam.
them.
So, but no, those cards are too pretty not to showcase. They're too pretty.
Yeah.
I want them.
And I've got all kinds. Let's see here. Um, those ones aren't very familiar. You know what? I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna
Wait,
have
hold
to
on.
pull up my
Bobby
favorite
says
one.
that. Hold on a second. We possibly have an incursion here. Bobby might be messing with me. He does that sometimes. But Bobby says the dialogue, the question you're being asked, just flashed in Korean. Who have you pissed off? The Chinese. The fucking Mings don't like me, and they can kiss my ass. Mings, if you're watching, come get some.
Look
Fucking
at that,
Mings.
the Emperor. He said, "Come get them too."
Yeah, perfect. Oh, oh, I want to lick him. Yeah, Roman style armor, especially fetishized Roman style armor, quickest way to get Cassidy in bed. Anyway, uh,
And look at the Moon card. We talked about the Moon.
yes. So you're gonna explain in detail this reading, right? Because this is painting a picture in my
Well,
head that I don't quite
I was just
understand.
pulling cards. I was just pulling cards off the energy and off the topic, and just just and they've been just been kind of connecting and resonating with everything that we've been talking about. I was pulling cards for the energy. I like to do that. Just the
Mhm.
energy alone, just of what we got going on, and it's very fitting.
And quick side
So
note, in case anybody's firing up some hate mail, Mings is not a racial slur. It's an ideological slur. There are white Mings, there are black Mings. Most Mings are Chinese. That's true. It's a slur for a particular practitioners of a particular dark sorcery that emerged in the Ming era of China. Hence, fucking Mings. Anyway, sorry, I just didn't want anybody firing up the social justice warriors at me.
and our next podcast, you know what, we should definitely. I've got the perfect cards. Actually, I mean they're topless, but they're the perfect cards for
Hey, this is
when
the
we
show
get it to
for it.
bed, and maybe do some little mini reads on our next one. It's a little late tonight, and we've really dug in and really hit some really good topics, and it was really good. But
Well, do we want to do an hour show
definitely
or
for
a
sure,
2 hour show?
I'll bring the naughty cards out. We'll do some readings after our discussion.
Okay. Cool. I love this show. Okay. Susan says Cassidy's teaching how to use the internet. Wow. Yeah, sort of. Okay, so the program, there's two programs that I use, and I'm actually not really sure which one does what. I just doink with them until they work, and then I hope I remember what I did, which I usually don't. So you could ask Melody. It's like every show, it's like a half an hour. How did I do that? Um, all right, so the first one is you're gonna want to look for a program called Duet, and that allows you to see your computer as a monitor on your device. Okay. The second program you're going to want is a power mirror. And what that does, it displays whatever your phones, whatever is on the screen on your device as a window on your computer. So then from there you can tell OBS Studio to grab that your phone as a capture, and you can point it wherever you want. And then from there, it's just you basically what me and Shannon did. And this is we had it all set up in Illinois. It looks so good. We just had like a little backboard. It had little had some crystals on the bottom to hold a scarf in place, and then we just put the cards there, and that was part of the window. So
All right. Oh, geez, I really need to tighten up those thing on his bed. Is like,
you know, what'd be funny, Bobby, is if he's still getting subtitles in Korean. You know, what'd be funny is if in the subtitles in Korean, Ming's was in English. Okay. Liana says, wait. Liana says, okay. She's having a whole conversation. Okay, she's talking to Drac. All right, fair enough, fair enough. We don't need to go into the private, conversations in the audience. Um,
I wrote it down. I'm
all right, cool, go.
just gonna put it on the calendar too.
You have the floor, my lady.
And I said I'm just gonna write it down. There we go. All right. It is 7 to 1 here. I'm on Central Time. Um, I'm gonna have to say goodnight and go do some of my own personal Kundalini. Well,
Ah, Pixar didn't happen.
but this is good. This was a good one. This one we're gonna have to come back and touch base on a couple of topics of tonight. Again, definitely the energy
Yes,
stuff with spirits, ghosts, and other realms, and we'll have to talk a little bit more about tantric and Kundalini as well.
indeed, indeed. And as we get used to it, and as we get used to each other's energy on camera, it'll get a lot. It'll get way smoother. Um, in the
Or
meantime,
crazy.
why not
You can get
both?
crazy.
Why not both? Mm, We could get crazy with the cheese whiz, but in a responsible fashion. Uh, balance, Johnny. Yeah, balance is always the answer. There is no benefit to being out of balance with yourself. There is none. Um, Now, practitioners of the dark side, I hate to sound like Star Wars here for a second. Let's be honest. No, I don't. Practitioners of the dark side, there is benefits to their power level, as it were, basically their acquisition of power. But ultimately, such as the way with the shadow. it always has a price, and that price is always more than you wanted to pay. If in your belief system that's worth it, hey, more power to you. Just not me. That's not my thing. So
Speaking of dark side, I've got been solo here on my curtain rod, or my curtain rod here in the window,
yeah,
just hanging out there with the sword up in the air,
with
just
your
hanging there.
sexy self.
And then I got a huge one that sits in the corner by the bed. Yeah, the dark side. Then
Yeah,
I like Star Wars.
yeah, yeah. Hey, I'm dressed like Han
It's
Solo.
been
What do I get
pretty
to say?
sexy.
So
Yeah,
we're gonna go ahead and end
I
it
think Han
because
Solo's pretty sexy.
so you want to go ahead and pack it up? So we've been on for in
Yeah,
5 minutes. It'll be an hour.
perfect, perfect.
Cool.
Yes.
Okay, so in that case, folks, if you have any suggestions or questions for future for next week, go ahead and PM myself or Melanie Renee Watkins, and we'll see what we can do. We should have it a little bit more sophisticated next week. Like we'll have like an email set up, questions, things like that. It'll be getting better as we go. So, Melanie, thank
And
you very.
we'll do some tarot next week. We'll do
Yeah.
some readings. Pull out the
Now,
naughty card.
now you're sure I didn't know railroad you too much because I have a habit of doing that.
No, it's perfect.
Okay, cool,
Absolutely perfect.
good. Okay, so in that case, um, yeah. Well, we got 4 minutes to kill. Uh, John, we already answered that one. Bobby says, "Good night. Nice to make your acquaintance." Yeah, just much bunch of good nights. People complimenting you. Basically, everybody says they're glad you're here. Want to see more.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yes.
You can go through and see the comments. Um, Draconis, I'm going to come to your house and steal your Vader mask, just so you know. You're going to wake
Oh,
up
it's a
and
doll. It's a well. I'm gonna say it's a doll. He's about that big, and then I got one that's about 3 feet. I got two of them.
yeah, so you're going to wake up and there's going to be a little note that says "Gone fishing." Not the lion.
You know that's
Definitely not the lion.
that's fine. As long as you bring back some chocolate and the fish is been scaled. I'm good.
Duly noted. All right, so that's all the time we have for now, guys. Thank you for sharing some of your time with us today.
Good night,
Uh,
everybody.
if you've enjoyed the show and wish to contribute, you can click the donation button in the description below, which is currently not in the description on Facebook because I'm a lazy asshole, but on YouTube it'll be there. Haha. But the best thing you can do
Yep.
is like, share, subscribe, with the emphasis on sharing. There's a lot of people to reach, and we don't have a whole lot more time. And frankly, we are only as strong as our signal.
And
So,
I would like. Can I upload this one to my
yeah,
YouTube channel, my Aquarius channel? I would love
yeah.
that. Yes.
And we can even you can even like re-edit it, cut it. This is yours too. This is 50-50 you and me. So,
All
you know,
right. So I'm gonna upload this one up to Aquarius, and I can take the audio and put it onto the podcast. But yes,
that's
Aquarius. So yes, but
I
please
was going to
subscribe and
ask you to
share
do
out
that.
for everyone.
Yeah. And then keep an eye out for the podcast coming soon. So, all right. And we'll go to the outro card. We need an outro card for us because this one is just my ugly mug looking out at everybody. I need one of your pretty mug looking out at everybody. So, anyway, so just remember, folks, you're not alone. Hope is coming. We love you, everyone. Oh, oh, indeed, indeed. We love you, everyone. Be yummy out there. And stop streaming. Okay, and the cookie for the typical cookie for the YouTube. Melanie, what do you want to say to YouTube? It doesn't have to be a big thing, just oh yes, Cookie Nookie is some of the best. All right. See you next week. Love you guys. Bye-bye.